Inside our Earth, the lithosphere is the solid crust of rocks on the surface of the Earth where we live. The word litho means rock or stone and sphere means domain. The term lithosphere thus can be described as rock sphere. The average thickness of lithosphere is more in the continents than in the oceans. The main part of the crust consists of igneous rocks. The rest consist mostly of sedimentary and metamorphic rocks. Interior of the Earth. The study of the internal structure of the Earth depends upon indirect sources. Seismic waves or the earthquake waves are the most important source. By studying these waves and their movement, we come to know about the interior of the Earth. The inner structure of the Earth can be compared to an onion. The Earth is made up of several concentric layers with one inside another. The uppermost layer over the Earth's surface is called the crust. The second layer is known as the mantle and the innermost layer is called the core. Crust. The uppermost layer of the Earth is called the crust. It is the most important layer as we live on it and perform all the activities on it. The thickness of the crust varies widely. It is about 35 kilometers thick on the continental masses and only 5 kilometers on the ocean floor. It is the thinnest among all the layers. The crust is further divided into two parts, that is, the upper crust made up of silica and aluminium, also known as Cl, and the lower crust made up of silica and magnesium, also called Sima. Cl make the continents while Sima is mainly found on the ocean bed. The thickness of Cl is more than Sima. It is believed that when the Earth was being formed, the heavier rocks sank to form the ocean floor, while the lighter rocks settled on top to form the continents. Mantle. The mantle lies just beneath the crust. It extends up to a depth of 2,900 kilometers. The mantle is again divided into the upper mantle and the lower mantle. Upper mantle is found from 60 to 300 kilometers below the Earth's surface. The lower mantle extends from 300 to 2,900 kilometers. The average temperature here is around 3000 degrees Celsius. It is believed that the mantle has been formed largely of silicate minerals rich in iron and magnesium. This layer is called Asthenosphere. The rocks in this part of the Earth are in a plastic or molten state. It forms the inner layer of the upper mantle. Due to its higher density than the crust, the lithosphere is considered to be floating over the asthenosphere. The core. The innermost layer of the Earth is called the core. It is the deepest and most inaccessible zone of the Earth. The density of the core is more than twice the density of the mantle. The core is further divided into two parts, that is, outer core and inner core. The outer core is 2,300 kilometers thick and the inner core is 1,200 kilometers thick. The upper core is extremely hot and is in molten liquid state. The lower core, however, under such extreme pressure remains solid. The major constituents of this layer are nickel and iron, due to which the core is also known as knife, rocks and minerals. The materials of the crust or lithosphere are generally called rocks. The Earth's crust is made up of various types of rocks. Any natural mass of mineral matter that makes up the Earth's crust is called a rock. Rocks can be of different color, size and texture. Different types of rocks form different types of landforms. For example, the Deccan Plateau is made of igneous and metamorphic rocks, while the Himalayas and the northern plains are made up of sedimentary rocks. Rocks are made up of one or more minerals. Minerals are naturally occurring substances which have a definite chemical composition and physical properties. Types of rocks. The crystal rocks are classified on several grounds, like mode of formation, physical and chemical properties, locations, etc. The rocks are divided into three broad categories: on the basis of their mode of formation. They are Igneous Rocks, Sedimentary Rocks, Metamorphic Rocks. Igneous Rocks. These are formed due to cooling, solidification and crystallization of magma below the Earth's surface and lava on the Earth's surface. Igneous rocks are also called primary rocks because these originated first during the formation of the upper crust of the Earth. The word igneous is derived from the Latin word ignis, which means fire. Igneous rocks are further classified into two types, that is, intrusive rocks, extrusive rocks. Intrusive rocks. When the rising magma during a volcanic activity does not reach the Earth's surface and is cooled and solidified below the surface of the Earth, the resultant igneous rocks are called intrusive igneous rocks. Since they cool down slowly, they form large grains. Granite is an example of such a rock. Extrusive rocks. When the molten lava cools down and solidifies on the Earth's surface, then extrusive igneous rocks are formed. These are also called volcanic rocks. Extrusive igneous rocks are generally fine-grained or glossy because over on the surface, lava cools and solidifies quickly due to extremely low temperature of the atmosphere, and thus there is not enough time for the development of grains or crystals. For example, basalt is a kind of extrusive rock, of which the Deccan Plateau is made up. Sedimentary rocks. Sedimentary rocks, as the word implies, are formed by the deposition of sediments. Rocks roll down, crack and hit each other, and are broken down into small fragments. These smaller particles are called sediments. These sediments are transported and deposited by wind, water, moving ice, etc. These loose sediments are compressed and hardened to form layers of rocks. Such rocks are called sedimentary rocks. Sandstone, limestone, shale, and conglomerate are some examples of sedimentary rocks. The characteristics of sedimentary rocks are: these are formed of sediments derived from older rocks, plants, and animal remains. These rocks are stratified or have layers, and therefore fossils are found in these layers. These are found over the largest area of the globe. About 75% of the surface area of the globe is covered by these rocks. These hold reserves of coal, oil, and natural gas. Metamorphic rocks. Under conditions of intense heat and pressure, existing rocks change completely into new kinds of rocks. Such rocks are called metamorphic rocks. The word metamorphic is derived from meta, which means change, and morphe, which means form. Slate, marble, and diamond are examples of metamorphic rocks, which are transformed forms of clay, limestone, and coal respectively. Metamorphic rocks are associated with a number of valuable metallic minerals, including gold and silver. Uses of rocks. Rocks are very useful for us in many ways. Some of them are: these are the storehouse of minerals. Example: fossil fuels like coal, petroleum, and natural gas are found in sedimentary rocks, whereas in igneous and metamorphic rocks, we find large reserves of metallic minerals. The hard rocks are used for making roads, houses, and buildings. Minerals, precious metals, and gemstones are used in making jewelry. Rock cycle. Rocks are formed under certain conditions in a cyclic manner. As the water changes its form in nature through the water cycle, the rocks also change their form through the rock cycle. When the molten magma cools, it solidifies to become igneous rocks. The igneous rocks are called parent rocks because other rocks originate from igneous rocks. These igneous rocks are broken down into small particles that are transported and deposited to form sedimentary rocks. When the igneous and sedimentary rocks are subjected to high heat and pressure, they change into metamorphic rocks. The metamorphic rocks, which are still under great heat and pressure, melt down to form molten magma. This molten magma can again cool down and solidify into igneous rocks.